Just another story. It's me, a man-made land. They tell us how it fell from the sky.
All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the Free American Hour. I'm your host, Clay Douglas. And my guest today is David South. Hello, David.
How are you today?
I'm doing pretty good, sir. I'm really excited to have you on here. You know, for the last 8 years, I've been talking about a Liberty Village, a place with small dwellings, and you know, that so people could come out and see how life is on the farm, on the ranch. You know, get out of the city, and that's all been kind of loosely formed. And then I was kind of blown away when I went to Monolithic Dome's page, and you've already done that in a way better than I even envisioned, because I envisioned TeePees, and what you've done is called a monolithic dome. Is that right?
That's exactly right.
And this is a system of building that well, is a lot simpler and a lot simpler than a stick-built house, and a lot more protective than a stick-built house, and a lot more windproof than, say, a teepee or a yurt, or even a wood cabin. Did I get that accurately?
Absolutely. It's totally fire safe, earthquake safe, tornado safe. Hurricanes mean nothing, and what it is, it's a throwback to a building that was built 2,000 years ago in Rome called the Pantheon. It's an all-concrete dome, and here in the United States we also super insulate them so that they're way more energy efficient. They'll use less than a fourth as much energy to heat and cool as a conventional building.
Now, the method of building this, I want people to be able to envision this as we're talking. You basically roll out a plastic bag, lay a sheet over the bag, blow it up, put water on it, and you got a home. Is that oversimplifying?
That's pretty simple. Let me kind of explain it. What we do is we'll pour a round foundation, and we attach to that what would look like a truck tarp, but it's been precisely made so that when we put air into it, it inflates it and makes the shape of the finished building. And so we turn the air pressure on, inflate it, and then we go inside through a door, just like you would. Most people have seen these for over tennis courts or swimming pools. You walk in through the double door, one closes behind you, and then we spray the underside of that airform with polyurethane foam. And as we spray that foam, we leave little wires sticking out of it towards the inside. After we've got our 3 inches of urethane in place, then we tie rebar in a predetermined pattern to that to the polyurethane, and then we bring in a nozzle and the concrete pump as spray nozzle, and we spray shotcrete, or some people call it gunite. We spray concrete on the inside and cover up all that rebar, and we make it to the precise thickness that we want. And when we've got that done, then we can open the doors and windows, and we now have a structure.
And this, I've had some people mention that if you made the concrete out of hemp, you'd really strengthen that. They don't allow you to use that kind of building material here, but if they did, would you be able to? Would that be something you could incorporate into your products here?
It's certainly something that could be looked at and incorporated. One of the things is I I kind of like to use the real heavy standard concrete. Hempcrete is a much softer, lighter material, and it doesn't store as much heat. And when we're building these buildings for houses, I like to store the maximum amount of heat. But the hempcrete is certainly valid material on its own. And in a lot of places around the world where we build, we don't use the polyurethane insulation, and there it would be spectacularly good stuff. And you can put it on by hand as well as spray it, either one.
Now you're distributing these and building these and setting up companies all around the world for these, aren't you?
I've built in 52 countries so far and 49 states, and everything from little tiny ones the size of a pup tent to huge ones the size of a stadium.
You right up on your website, you've got a home here with a wind generator on it with solar panels on the front, and it's made with your process. To me, this is what our neighborhoods should look like, and at least our farms and ranches. And with a structure like this as your main structure there, you can bring people in, and you've got you can actually go in and rent one of these smaller domes at your place in Texas. Would you tell us about that?
Yeah, we have classes 4 times. We have classes 4 times a year where we teach the actual method of construction, and we'll have people from all over the world come to these classes, and they're listed on the website. The last one for this year is starting tomorrow, but there'll be another one in April and May. We try and stay away from the hot Texas sun.
Now, where is give us the location? How can people get there? How can people get if I've got listeners in Texas, so if they wanted to attend this, there's still time for them to do it, right?
There's still time, as long as they show up by tomorrow. Monolithic.com is our website, and that has all the information on it. But in addition, we're at a little tiny town called Italy, Texas, and that's an hour south of Dallas.
Been there, sir. Don't think I stopped long, but I've been there.
It's just a wide spot in the road.
Now you've got what about 10 or 12 cabins at your facility there that people can rent out?
At my facility here, I've got 75 domes, and then just down the road we have another 100 that we built and we rent them.
So, do all of your are these? How are you doing it? Is it individual homes? Is it like a motel that somebody could come in and rent one? How do you have them?
Well,
how's your layout structured?
Okay, the main facility here, I have 2 office buildings, a training center, 4 or 5 manufacturing buildings that we use for work that we do here. A lot of experimental buildings, storages. We try everything here first, but I do have 25 little rental units that I rent by the week. I don't rent them for motel, I rent them by the week, and they're to try and help people that need an inexpensive place to stay. Some rent for $100 a week, up to $120 a week, with all the bills paid. And it's for people that really need a place to stay. They're only large enough for a couple of people. But I have women that are on Social Security. I have men on Social Security. I have disability. I have young kids, and I have moms that have been thrown out of the house with 1 child and stuff like that. And I'm trying to promote that because it's a way for everybody to get into the dome business and make some money and at the same time help people.
Well, I'm putting an event here, and what we're trying to do is put the veterans to work. No more homeless vets, and give them a place to stay. I don't want to. I don't like the thought of you know, our servicemen being sleeping out on the streets. And
I don't either.
I'm trying to, with the plan, I'm working with the county sheriff in Cochise County, Sheriff Larry Deaver, and he kind of wanted boots on the ground because his deputies, there's not enough of them to cover that whole county and protect the farmers and the ranchers out there.
I agree.
And what I've tried to envision is a few of these structures planted outside that would house veterans, or you know, we got 1 million people that are out of their homes, that have been kicked out on the streets, that are living in tents in Los Angeles, and I think we owe them some kind of responsibility, you know, and so if we put your structures, just one or two, on a ranch, and the people there would grow their own food, organic gardens, and put up a windmill just like you got pictured on your website here, they become pretty self-sufficient. We don't need government to take care of them. We don't need to put them in homes. We don't need to get them, you know, food stamps. I mean, we could actually take care of our own people.
Well, to take it even further, we're working right now to start building what I call grow domes. And a grow dome will use the little light that we have available to us to grow food inside 24/7, 365 days of the year. And we're getting really close to having them out on the market ready to work. So you could not only have a place for the people to stay, and you could grow food during the summer, you'll grow food 24/7 around the world.
There is a gentleman that has 5 acres. Now that's what I owned 5 acres in northern New Mexico, or in central New Mexico, and near White Sands, and I figured I could put 20 domes on there, and a restaurant, and a gift shop, and it would generate income. And if I can put 4 or 5 veterans to work, you know, milking the goats, mending the fences, we've got people to defend the people on the ranch or the farm. And there, I just put up a link to a video of a gentleman that's raising almost 1 million pounds of food on 5 acres by putting them inside the greenhouses, and yours is a step up from a greenhouse, I would say.
Well, ours will run 24/7, where a greenhouse you're limited to half a year in general.
You know, I've been reporting on the whole New World Order global banking scam for 20 years. And the only way I figured the average person could get away from this is to become self-sufficient and to grow their own food and live in a home like you have designed here. The cost of these homes, they actually cost about the same per square foot as a stick-built house. Is that accurate?
That's exactly right. And if people will get away from building these mega mansions and start building a standard what they need, they'll have money left over. They can put a grow cabin in their yard and grow their own food and help each other. And the wind generators, the one you're seeing is on my website, but you give me another 60 days and you'll see my newest wind generator, which generates 5 times as much electricity. We're coming very, very close to where self-sufficiency will be easy and necessary.
Well, It's what I predicted 8 years ago. I mean, I've done the whole thing, the true face of FEMA. I've listed. I was there and filmed the first Homeland Security meeting. In case of a single, a disaster like an earthquake on a New Madrid fault line, we'll need 400,000 well-armed, well-trained, organized, disciplined troops to control the American people, because some of them just won't follow orders. What you're talking about and living like that and getting away, and I think that we need to do it as communities, because the communities, I live 20 miles from the nearest town, and it was a real struggle for me if I was by myself. When I had help there, people living there on their property, living in the trailers or other bedrooms, it produced, it made money. We were able to work out there comfortably with the internet, and everything that you're describing is exactly what I have envisioned that we absolutely need. I mean, to survive. How did we survive 100 years ago or 1,000 years ago? We survived in small communities, with farms, and the self-sufficient family farm is forever. And you've got the way to do that. One of the problems that we've got is the chemtrails. Now that means our water and our plants are being laced with aluminum. Your grow domes can stop that, right?
Right. All what you're describing is something where I'm seeing more and more people are waking up to it, and we're going to see it. And we don't have to give up the nice things. We don't have to give up. I grew up where running water mean you ran with the bucket. Now, I like water that comes out of a pump. Unfortunately, most of the water here in my part of Texas is deep, 3,000 feet deep. But the surface water is contaminated. And one of the things you'll find on my website is I'm selling a water filter that'll clean out all the contaminants. I won't take the aluminum out, but it'll take out every known bacteria and virus. And what that means is that we're going to be allowed to store water, rainwater, whatever we got, and clean it up enough that it's just as clean as the best water anybody could ask for.
They may hassle you.
A lot of things.
They may hassle you in Colorado. It's illegal to have a rain barrel there.
I know. I understand. I'm sorry about that.
Well, they are going to try to legislate to keep. I think they're going to. This is what this whole National Animal Identification System was about. So you have to chip your chickens and report to the government if they go across the road. This new bill that they're trying to get to the. So the government can come in and inspect your see what kind of tomatoes you're growing in your backyard. How are you prepared to deal with these issues, or do we have to deal with these individually in the communities where we want to put these things, or if we wanted to erect one of these buildings, if we wanted to set up a village made out of these homes, how would we go about it in these communities?
One of the things I like about living here in Texas is you have less legislation than most other places. I go get a building permit for $75. I build anything I want, anything, from a little tiny building to a multi-million-dollar building, and I never see an inspector. So far, the rest of the U.S. is not that far along.
The I'm kind of the opinion. I say I'm a Texan in exile in Arizona, and I'm of the opinion we should never have given up the Rocky Mountains. And as far as I'm concerned, when I lived in New Mexico, I was on the Texas side of the Rio Grande. So, and we still got the Texas, the one state that's got the right to secede if we wanted to, huh?
Yep. Well, I'm not to where I'm ready to do all of that stuff, but I do want to live independent. And you mentioned here at my place, I have my home, my son's home, my daughter's home, a couple of my other VP's homes, plus the few that we rent. It gives us a village.
Yes, sir. Do you are you growing? Have you got the grow domes in operation now in your place?
I do not, but that's high priority. I've got 2 of them now. I just finished one here 2 weeks ago, and we're going to. It isn't outfitted. I've got to get it outfitted with LED lights and all the stuff. It'll take me several months to get it outfitted, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to outfit it so people can take a look at it and say, I want one, and they can either build one themselves or they can have me ship them one.
Well, I'd like to be able to just highlight your system already. You've already got it. You've got the village, as you said. You got everything except the restaurant or the gift shop that I envision. And I'd like to be able to help you promote this as a Liberty Village. I mean, this is what it is. You know, the only thing that extra that requires that you do is hang a copy of the Constitution, Declaration of Independence, and the Bill of Rights on the wall.
Well, and I absolutely honor them totally.
Yeah, I volunteered in 1964 for Vietnam, and I don't believe there was any expiration date on that oath that I took. So my interest is in the veterans also, but a million people. You know why? And you brought up an excellent point, and I'd like for you to elaborate on that. You said, why do you need these huge homes, 2,000 square feet? You got 2,000 square feet. I live in a fifth wheel trailer right now, and I'm really comfortable here. You know, I'm really comfortable. The size is absolutely no problem. Now,
I am absolutely stunned when people come in and start describing the house they want in the future to live in, and I say, well, how many of you are going to live in it? Well, me and my husband. Well, why do you want a 5,000 square foot house? Well, I have all my mother's furniture and I need to have the rooms to put it in. And I say, well, why don't you just put it in storage? She said, well, you don't want to put it in storage. And I said, sure you do. You store it on eBay. And the one gal looked at me and she says, you can't store anything on eBay. And I said, sure you can. You put it on eBay, it disappears. 20 years later, if you want it, you just go back to eBay and you can go get it. And of course she said, well, you're just funning me. And I said, no, I'm dead serious. Why would you want 5,000 square foot home for you, 65, and a husband, 80, to live in?
And you're paying, you know, if a young person goes out and buys one of those homes, 2,000 square feet, let's just say 2,000 square feet. He pays, let's say he pays, you know, $200,000 for it. He's going to pay that $200,000 3 times over the next 30 years. And then he might own the home if he's kept up the taxes on it. But my God, how much money did you just throw away to the banks? And when we lived in teepees or yurts all over the world for thousands of years without a bank.
Well, go ahead.
Without a bank. I mean, we did it without a bank. We lived, we survived, we grew our own food, we hunted, we traded. You know, we worked together.
Well, we're running a separate thing now. We're getting more people, so consequently we have to be wiser. And we can be wiser. We can grow way more food with the modern technology. We just need to get it lined up and do it. We do not need the huge homes. We don't need the huge cars. We don't need the huge vehicles. I just saw the other day where Shell, I think it was Popular Mechanics, was showing they had just did a run, and they had cars that were getting 2,700 miles per gallon. Ridiculous for us to drive what we're driving.
One of the things that I'll feature, Paul Pantone, a friend of mine, who I've known for 25 years, has the Geek device, which will at least double, triple your knowledge, your mileage.
Well, good. I will look it up.
And let's see, if there's a company in Texas, I think just north, maybe it's in New Mexico, just north of El Paso, that has been making diesel fuel by running water through a pipe and growing algae, turning that into diesel fuel. It's the fastest growing plant on Earth.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. We don't need to kill people. We just need to be smarter. We can take care of it. When this American continent had nothing but Indians on it, they were starving every year, and they only had 8 or 10 million. Now we've got 300 million, and we're surplusing. Well, let's just keep doing it. If we use our head, we can grow more and take care of more.
You're right. We certainly can do that. And tell me, how are these going over in other countries? Now, the people I've talked to and the information I've got indicates that we're really into a worldwide revolution where people are looking to take away the power of the banks, the power of the oil companies, and these food companies. What's the ninth plank on the Communist Manifesto? Oh yeah, corporate farms. Can you say Monsanto or Archer Daniels Midland?
Well, certainly I like independence. I prefer that in that case. You ask how the domes are going around the world. They're just like here in the U.S. You got smart people and dumb people that are wanting them.
Well, the people are the same all over the world, aren't they?
I see a little different in color and a few things, but the plans, you got good people everywhere, and you got some that I'm not very proud of.
What about now?
I do think we're going to have to get smarter.
The problem is, we were just discussing this on the chat room, is that a lot of these organizations, even like the Tea Party, have been infiltrated and are doing more damage to our independence than they're helping.
I have to agree. I have to agree that we're seeing our schools are not what they used to be. Our governments are not. You and I know various people that are in, like the manager of your town, your county management. There's some of them that are still spectacularly good people, but we sure got some others that need to be replaced.
We're talking with some. I've had some political parties on that are you know, again, for the individuals. For, you know, it's really a matter of individuals. If you, I don't care what color you are, what religion you are. You got that place over there. If you can grow your own food and trade apples for oranges, I'd be happy to do business with you. You know.
Absolutely.
And
well,